I'll now move on to my next topic before I go for the break. And I told you that tonight I'll be speaking to the internal audit. They have a program tomorrow, and that's why they are here. But I have mentioned to him that there are a few questions that I would want to put across to him. However, let me introduce to you Mr. William K. Ofei Mensah. He is the Deputy Director General, Technical and Field Operations, Internal Audits. Deputy Director General, Technical and Field Operations, Mr. William K. Ofei Mensah. Good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you're doing very well. You're welcome to us. Let me begin off with the program. What's happening tomorrow? I posted your flyer and I saw a lot of people from the Internal Audit Service and people working in the public agencies, MMDAs, giving me lots of text messages and telling me they are going to watch because you're coming into the studio. Please put on your microphone.
Okay,
yes.
Tomorrow we're having the annual Internal Audit Conference. Mm-hmm. This is a very, very important conference. Mm-hmm. It is meant to bring together all internal audit practitioners and make sure we harmonize our practices, look at the state of the act, what is happening, what are we supposed to do. Mm. We have to fraternize as a professional, as professionals, and also look at solidarity, look at bring in people who help improve our information. So we are bringing in professors, consultants,
not
other,
from the fraternity only, not people who are
not only
auditors or auditors
anybody only. Who will give us something more that we want. So that we brainstorm and interact and dialogue, and then we look at what is the feedback, right? Direct feedback from them, and then we build upon it and look at.
You're having your members coming from the whole country?
The whole country.
How many of you are you expecting?
We are expecting about 2,000
people.
Yes.
In the conference room?
Yes.
Where is this happening?
UPSA.
Okay.
UPSA, University of Professional Studies, Arts, Accra here.
And how long is this going to be?
It's going to be 3 days, from tomorrow to Thursday.
All right. But people, when I posted it, I asked people again. People gave me questions again, which were, we don't see, to quote them, we don't see the use of internal auditors in especially the public agencies because we still have lots and loads of corruption going on. What's happening?
I think what we have to look at is what would have been the case if there were no internal auditors.
Internal auditors are supposed to, in fact,
currently
I know in your act, that in your act, you have even introduced PreAudit.
Yes.
Instead of the PostAudit. So if you are pre-auditing all documents that are going through
we are rather going away from the PreAudit.
You are running away from PreAudit?
No, we are not. We are going away, not running away. Because we are going for a more constructive and a more, that's risk-based. And we are now even installing and making sure all public sector institutions have enterprise risk management.
Okay.
That's a more integrated framework, looking at risks in its whole, holistic look at the risk, so that we look at the knocking off and the contingent later of risk itself. So we started with, there was PreAudit. The PreAudit was too much, it was more laborious and it also delayed, and it also didn't bring out the independence of the internal auditor. The internal auditor should be an independent person who will be able to review. So you cannot do a self-review that you partook in the decisions and then you end up at the end of it going to also look at it. So a better one is to look at risk-based.
How is the risk-based different from the PreAudit? You assess the nature of the business that the entity wants to embark on, whether it is risky to embark on, whether you are going to allow it to proceed, or how is it?
So in a risk-based, we start with a very important report at the beginning of the year. There will be a strategic document at the beginning of almost every public sector institutions. They will have a strategic planning document. And based on the strategic planning document, we, the internal auditor, will prepare a risk-based internal audit plan. You see, so so that to align with the strategy.
Right.
So in the strategy, you will talk about activities you want to perform, and we will advise you that these are the issues or these are the events. When they happen, they will affect the attainment of your objectives. So we will prepare an audit, pre-prepare. It's a pre-prepare an audit program to look at, make sure that we are readily going to provide you advice as and when the issues happen. So that is what that is. So we are going to, so it's going to be a refresher point throughout the year for your audit, for our audit activities. So as you go along with your implementation of your strategy, we are also auditing you accordingly, according to the planned strategy. So that is more important than looking at transaction based. When transaction means one issue, every issue must go to the internal auditor. I don't think it is that good.
You don't think every
it
issue?
pile ups, yes. It pile up the issues. There are some of the issues that doesn't have any risk. It is just recurring.
Is it about the price of, or the amount of money that is on the kind of activity? Are you going to rate it based on that? How do you determine that?
Yeah, that's why we are going to look at risks. So when the activity is risky, yes, it will go through PreAudit. But there are so many activities or even transactions that are not risky at all. They must go. And therefore, so that you have more time and concentrate on the risk areas.
People think that internal auditors are more of a blockade to the smooth running of entities.
That is one of the misconceptions. And one of it is the reason why we are
They
moving from
kings of their own.
Yeah, that's why we are moving from
they will
the.
not pass the document if they are interested.
That is why it is good to move from the pre-audit. In the pre-audit, the internal auditor,
But you get cases of that.
we get cases of that.
Some of your members have become kings of their own in their institutions.
Well, it is a human institution, so some people will do that.
But per your training, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
Why do they do that? Do you sanction them?
Yes, you'll be sanctioned.
So we can report them if they do that.
Yeah, you do. You do report if they do that. So what? So I was stressing on one of the most important reasons why we are moving from the pre-audit is what you are talking about, where all documents have to go to the internal auditor, pre-audited before it moves to the next stage, and that can be very, very involving. That can be he becomes a stampede. There will be a lot of work, and there will be congestion in the office of the internal auditor. When it is not important, he's a risk person. It's not important. The thing is not risky. Why does it have to go there? And therefore, it gives him a lot of work, and he concentrates on the most important things instead of looking at the most important things, picking and choosing the most important things that he's supposed to concentrate on.
I want to ask you something, but let me ask this before. Why do we get external auditors coming into entities when there are internal auditors who are permanently working with the agencies or entities?
Well, internal auditors, they do what technically we call interim audit. The internal auditors do continuous audit. The difference between the two is quite clear. In continuous audit, we are going to follow up and give you a report of what you've done almost immediately, for real time, close to real time. The internal auditor reports to Parliament and is going to look at the entire year. Even sometimes a whole year he has not come. So we are going to look at, so who implements
why
even...
do we get infractions based on the reports from the external auditors? When internal auditors are working, and you go into some entities, about 8, 9, 10 internal auditors. You have the head, you have the deputy, you have the staff, about 4 or 5 of them, and we still get infractions from the reports of the external auditors.
I think we must know what the infractions are. Some of the infractions, some of them are mere administrative. They are just administrative. Some of them are technical, and a few of them are...
Some of them are corruption.
So, and a few of them are, yes, a few of them are like that.
Should we not have punitive measures for you?
Then, no, then...
Should we not have
it is rather the internal auditor that have brought out. In fact, he's the first person to even bring out the infraction. You see, when the infraction is not dealt with,
do they write a report
timely?
That I have.
They write a report. Most.
I will cite a case for you.
Most of the report of the external auditor is just what the internal auditor has on earth. So if it is not done, it is not followed through and dealt with, then it is repeated and then it appears in the external
aside the
auditor.
case of Gimpa School, and I think when the reports came out, the Public Accounts Committee, we saw that a school that teaches procurement and the practices of procurement still had procurement breaches. Most of these, which had gone through the internal audit, and still the external audit was able to identify procurement breaches. I mean, from where I sit, I think that it shouldn't have happened at all. You are teaching students to go out to do procurement. You are teaching.
I think there's something I'm saying that you are not. The internal auditor's job is to bring out the infraction, and he will propose or recommend how it might be dealt with. If it's not dealt with, he will repeat it. So is it him who is not who is contributing to the infractions?
He can file that report.
Yes.
We all know that the internal
yes.
auditor did this.
So he will bring it out, emphasize it, and will not take it out, and therefore that is why the report is what it is. Are you understanding me?
Yes.
So then it will escalate further to the external auditor who will pick it up, and then it appears. So it is rather the work of the internal auditor that have brought out so many of such infractions. Many of which are administrative, some are technical. Technical means that it's operational. People didn't know their work. Accounting, they didn't balance the books well, qualifications or practices or experiences were not well done. And then some of them are really on fraud and corruption. So if the internal auditor has even reported on the risks of corruption, risks of fraud, then he has done his job.
One of your members has sent me a message. I'm tempted to mention his name. He says, I hope you are not using me as discussion. I'm watching your man. He's doing very, very well. And you know him very well. And he's asking that I don't mention his name. But my last question to you, one of the biggest problems which is in the industry, or audit industry, is conflict of interest and maybe, I wrote them here, influence peddling. I don't know whether you agree to that. Is influence peddling a problem?
Oh, well.
In the practice?
Yes. It's,
conflict of interest is a problem in the practice?
It is.
Do you agree that...
it is.
Have you read about the LaBianca case?
Here and there, but I've not done the technical analysis.
You haven't done a technical analysis?
Yes, I want to do a technical analysis instead of just the newspaper.
People are calling on the Council of State member to resign.
I don't know why he should resign now.
Because she has made payments to the Special Office of the Special Prosecutor.
To pay to
monies have been retrieved.
Yes, and that is good.
And so she had a conflict of interest. Being a Council of State member and a board member of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and having this amount of money discounted to you, your business. Was he
a Council of State member when he was a board member?
According to the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
The same time?
Yes.
It doesn't make... I mean, we are supposed to do businesses. Businesses can go wrong. The issue is that there is a lot of pros and cons about tax incentives. Where tax incentives are supposed to have...
Special Prosecutor believes that she used her office as a board member of GPHA and office and the Council of State to influence the system to get that discount.
And she has agreed to pay back.
She has paid back, but Council of SP believes this is what she did.
She should resign as a member of the board of GPA, Ghana Ports Authority.
You think she should?
Well, I think I don't want to give a judgmental statement now because I want to look at it technically as an internal auditor.
The facts that I've given to you, do you think she should?
Journalism can be whatever, but I want to look at it technically as an internal auditor.
Mr. William K. Ofei Mensah is the Deputy Director General, Technical and Field Operations of Internal Audit. Tomorrow, everybody of the internal audits, wherever you are in the country, you are meeting at the UPSA, and it's a 3-day program. You're going to have analysis of a lot of things. You're going to have a lot of people from other industries come speak to you.